In 1984, Jimmie Gardner had been drafted as a pitcher for the Chicago Cubs when he was arrested and charged with rape and murder for a crime he didn't commit. The only evidence against him was the testimony of a forensic scientist by the name of Fred Zane, who lied and said that Gardner's fingerprints and DNA matched those found at the scene. Despite Zane later being indicted on fraud charges, it would take 26 years before Gardner was freed from prison. He's here tonight to share his remarkable story. Jimmie, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let me start by asking you to talk a bit about your case for those who aren't familiar with it. How did you get arrested and convicted for a crime you didn't commit?
Okay, first off, I was playing baseball in the minor leagues with the Chicago Cubs baseball organization, and that was 1987. And at that time, 2 white women were sexually assaulted, burglarized, and robbed and beaten up. There was no murder. But those were the charges in 1987, and approximately 2 years went by before I was actually questioned and fingerprinted for the second time and actually charged. And at this time, I asserted my innocence, and I was asked to give fingerprints, again, blood, hair, saliva. So I readily gave everything, which I always tell individuals don't do that. But I did that and gave all my forensic evidence to the detectives, and I was immediately arrested. I went on trial in January of 1990. It was a 5-day trial. I was convicted on one case and acquitted on the other case. And I was subsequently sentenced to 110 years total. And I served 27 years of an arduous fight of litigation and trying to get litigation, but finally getting my first review in 2016, the year of 2016, April 1st. I actually walked out the doors and I came home, but the state of West Virginia decided to retry me. So for 5 more months, I prepared for a trial. And on September 7th, I actually had all charges dismissed with prejudice. And that was my day of liberation.
Okay, so I stand corrected. This wasn't for a murder. It was for an assault and rape. Is that correct?
Yes. Right.
Okay. Okay. So tell me about your experience in prison. I know you spent 2 years in solitary confinement. How did you keep up the optimism?
Yeah, I got into a fight as soon as I went into the institution. The charges that I was convicted of, which were sexual assault and charges against women, they don't go well in prison with people. So I immediately had individuals attack me with certain name calling me the N-word and rapist and this and that. So I got into an altercation with a guy, and I ended up winning the fight, and I was sentenced to 2 years in solitary confinement. And it was at that time that things were happening over in solitary confinement that weren't happening at Moundsville, West Virginia Penitentiary on mainline population. There was stabbing every day, a lot of gang fights. You had the Aryan Brotherhoods, you had Skinhead, you had the Ku Klux Klan, you had the different types of DMI, different types of names of individual groups. And it was predominantly white groups, and I was in the minority as a black guy. And I was actually confronted a number of times, but it was over in lockup where I actually honed in and really became cognizant of who I am, and I understood. I got mindfulness. I got together of who I am and what I was striving for. And I started fighting my case. I started litigating, learning the law. I began to do all my shepherdizing and filing of paperwork, and I just really got serious. I started going through all different faiths. I went through all the faiths and started studying. I started studying classes. I changed my workout. I changed my diet. I changed everything, and that's how I actually came into an awakening. But that was after I was told I had high blood pressure and some other things. Yeah.
That's so incredibly impressive. I mean, you wrote a lot of your own legal briefs while you were in prison, and now you're actually married to a federal judge, the first black federal female or first black woman appointed to the federal bench in Georgia. Did you have any interest in becoming a lawyer, going to law school? I mean, do you currently?
No. My thing is, it was out of a necessity that I actually had to learn the law and apply the law and just fight for my case. And in the interim, I also fought for other guys' cases. But I learned the law, and I had help by individuals also. You know, by a guy by the name of Jump Shot. We call him Jump Shot. Cornell Day. You know, he helped me with my case, and we kind of gave each other advice, and it just happened to work out after a long prison sentence. Approximately 26, 27 years of fighting. I finally won my liberty. You know, I went through all organizations, ACLU. I went through all innocence projects throughout the United States, even Germany and Canada, and I just didn't get any help from anyone. I couldn't garner any help. You had a guy by the name of Fred Zane that had falsified documents and testified falsely, and not only my case, but 136 total cases. And I was one of those cases, but I never got a review, and it was just horrible.
Speaking of him, now you spent 26 years in prison, and during that time, the state found out that their key witness against you, Fred Zane, who testified that your fingerprints and DNA matched, you know, the evidence that was found at the scene, but he had a long history of fraud, and in fact, they indicted him for misconduct. And that wasn't enough, though, for the state to free you. And even after you were free, the state wanted to retry you. How are you able to process that, especially after being released, that you'd have to go through another prosecution for a crime you didn't do?
You know, I mean, it was very hard. It was difficult. You know, I know when I walked out of the South Central Regional Jail, I knew that I had a fight on my hands, and I had to be prepared, and I had to go back to West Virginia to begin fighting for my liberty and my life. And an attorney by the name of Robert Dunlap asked me to come and work out of his office and actually live in his office. And that's what I did. And I went through that process for 5 months. He and I and the rest of the lawyers in the law firm, we prepared for trial until September 7th. And that's when the state of West Virginia dismissed all charges. But, you know, they did that after we brought in a DNA specialist. And a DNA specialist came in and testified on my behalf, and all charges were dismissed. And like I say, it was a very difficult process, you know, but I really had faith in God, and I had faith in my higher power that I was going to be, you know, found not guilty of these charges, that I definitely didn't commit those crimes, and I just had faith and I had hope, and I held on.
Now, I know you work as a motivational speaker, but how do you encourage those who see no hope, no light at the end of the tunnel, those who weren't as fortunate as you to have their case revisited and be freed?
That's a great question. There are a number of individuals throughout the country that are incarcerated falsely, and some rightfully, that have not had an opportunity just to have due process and have their cases litigated. And I just try to instill hope, and I share my testimony, and I let individuals know that, you know, when you think there's no more rope to hold on to and no light, just, you know, dig deeper. You know, if you continue to believe in yourself and believe in your higher power, you know, you'll will yourself into a position of positivity. And that's how I just use my case and use myself as an example. And I share a number of testimonies, not just incarceration. I share testimonies of life. You know, I went through some times throughout my life, and I believe that, you know, what I went through was in preparation for what I actually ended up going through in West Virginia, the false conviction.
Your life's purpose. All right, Jimmie Gardner, it was an honor to talk with you. Thank you for sharing your time and your incredible story with us tonight. Thank you.
My pleasure.